Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Eastman Strategies podcast. Today I have with me Mike Kortoci, one of our recent clients, the owner of Home Improvement and Design. Mike, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Before we too deep into it, do you want to say a little piece about yourself and about your company?
All right, let's do it. We are a masonry company focused in northern New Jersey, located in Denville, New Jersey. We've been doing this kind of work about 20 years. We mainly focus on residential projects. Typically, what we do in everyday work, it's we build patios, steps, swimming pools, outdoor kitchen, walking path, all these beautiful things, exterior beautiful things.
For sure. To start, I did want to get into how did you first get into the home improvement niche and why home improvement?
It all starts with my background, creative background that I have. I study sculpture, mainly stone crafting. Early in my career, I started working for another very good masonry company. Mainly, I was charged of the creative side of the work. And later on, I got involved with a customer relation and managing overseeing the projects. That's how I start in this industry, going back 20 years ago. After that, I decided to open my own company. Since this company was very successful for, I think, good 5 years, I worked with the company. It improved a lot as far as business and profit margin. I decided to open my own company after 5 years working with them.
Yep, for sure. And then what kind of work, I know we did touch on this and I know this, but just for the viewers, what kind of work do you guys specialize in?
We specialize in, of course, masonry is outdoor work, mainly is outdoor work. We do a lot of projects, patio projects, swing wool projects, steps, lots of masonry steps, walking paths. We get involved with driveways, but
Hmm.
mainly with stonework that involves stonework.
Yeah. What would you say? I know a big part of it was we wanted to touch on the European masonry artisan kind of vibe, but what would you say was the thing that kind of sets you apart from other masons in the area?
It's combined in both. I have two excellent teams. They share the same background as myself. Both are trained and worked overseas. One of the team main guy, main mason, he worked in Greece for probably a good 10 years. The other gentleman worked in Italy once they left the country. Of course, and a big player is also my creative style, creative background in sculpturing. When I say sculpturing, it's a stone sculpturing. That's what I did. So when we get involved with projects, I am very involved in creative side of the projects, detail oriented. That's what I give separate us from other companies.
Yeah. And what would you say you want people to feel when they work with your company specifically?
Working with us, its number one reason is the work ethics and craftsmanship that we deliver to customers. It's this work, in my views, has to do with the creativity and craftsmanship a lot.
Mm.
Just also has to do with the communication with the homeowners. It's very important the way you communicate, the honesty, being honest with them, being authentic. Quite often, we be able to save customers money by being creative and creating a new ideas for the customers and to save the money.
Yeah, for sure. So you'd say that extra level of care is one thing that definitely sets you guys apart.
Care and creativity as well,
Yeah.
both in
Yeah,
hand.
for sure. So what would you say your biggest lessons you've learned running the company so far?
My biggest lesson is learning how to communicate with customers, being upfront, honest, responsible, and trustworthy. Of course, the craftsmanship is very important as well, but these are the most important things I learned throughout the years that if you're able to be honest, trustworthy, and build a relation with the customer, that's the most important thing in this industry.
And so back to the beginning as well, if you were to start over, what would you do differently if you had a chance to start over?
Yes, if this was to start over again, I would embrace the new technology soon as possible. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
In early in my career, I was not informed enough, educated enough with the new technology, and it did exist to a degree. But now it's crucial to embrace the technology in all aspects of the work.
Hmm. Definitely. And I know you've been in this industry for a while now. What has been, if you were to pick like a proudest moment as a business owner, what would that be?
There's many proud moments in my industry, my career, but some of them is when a customer, when we finish a project, you hear a customer that this is amazing. It's more than I expected. When they refer you to friends and family, that's indication of great work and satisfaction of customers. And
Mm.
that shows also in my reviews. If you look at my reviews, it shows the customer satisfaction.
Yeah. How important would you say reviews are in this day and age?
It's very important.
Yeah.
And it has to be authentic, has to be real reviews.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say to other business owners that you've seen is one of the biggest mistakes with other home improvement contractors?
The two biggest mistake that I see in other contractors are it's underpricing and overpromising. In order to be successful, you have to be up in front with the customer. You have to maintain fair pricing, and that's the only way you deliver and finish a successful project.
For sure. Yeah, and I think what also comes with that is, and we've worked together on this, and I've seen this as well, is you definitely get your fair share of difficult customers. So how would you say you go about handling that?
Yeah, quite often
Yeah,
here and there you get to projects or customers that are challenging, but I have I'm strongly believe that if you are up, if you have to focus and listen to customers' concerns, and you try to you're honest with whatever you're stating and saying, and you if you carry yourself professionally and you try the best, 95% of the time you are successful and you make them happy.
yeah. What's one thing homeowners should know before starting a home improvement project?
My best advice is to gather enough information and before you jump in a project. Today's technology and especially internet, it's you can get a lot of information about pricing, about a good company, about the right thing to do when you hire a contractor, and not to be based on the lowest price. It's the biggest advice: sit down with a contractor, see if you have a rapport connection, if you feel comfortable working on your house. Pretty much, that's my advice.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we touched on this before, but pricing, low pricing, competitive pricing, what's your kind of approach to pricing jobs competitively, but still being able to make a profit on them?
My job is to know pricing very well as far as materials, cost, labor, and all that. And also based on that and the market price, we have a set price that we are firm on that and has to be fair price.
Yeah.
Most of the time you win by doing that, by
Yeah.
being fair and knowing the market price.
Hmm. Okay, so it's just a combo of being fair to the customer and then also knowing the market, like the going rate.
Yeah, and supplies, labor, and all the other aspects of the projects.
Okay, yeah. So speaking on the labor topic, how would you say you find and keep good employees or subcontractors? I know you said you do have so two guys that have been working with you for a while now. How are you able to find them? And then also how do you
Yeah.
keep them?
Two guys is not two teams, you mean?
Or two teams, yeah.
Yeah, it's you treat them with a respect, you treat them fairly, you reward them for good projects and hard work. It's respect. You also explain each time the project starts, we have a meeting, we go over the projects, details of the projects, and but most of the part he becomes successful by doing that.
Yeah.
And the team stays with you and will be there for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. So just doing being respectful, paying them what's due, just allows you to keep two crews at least.
Yes, reward them. You got to reward them quite often, especially around holidays. You got to be very generous
Yeah.
and fair as well. And that's what usually this is my way of dealing with the subcontractors and my teams, really. It's not subcontractors.
Yeah, for sure. Touching on the topic of special or unique jobs that you've done in the past, do you have a job that was most challenging and how did you go about taking care of it?
Yes, I came across a few projects that were challenging. One of them, it was dealing with the wetland, and the project is rather large and it was far from the driveway location. So what you decide, we came to conclusions that because of the location and to make the job go faster and successful, we utilized the machines that we have, and also we create a path for this project that effectively help us to finish the project in time. The truth, what we did, it was we run a numerous amount of plywoods, treated plywood on the wetland, good enough to have the machine deliver all the materials back and forth from the location.
Yeah, for sure. And how did you go about keeping everybody on the same track and leading your team and making sure everything was in order in a job like that?
It's before the project, we had a meeting with all the staff members and we went over to details, and I explained how this project is going to be a challenge because of the wetland. It's very saturated. Also, throughout the project, we had numerous meetings about what's next and how can we deliver this, what the owners expected. And that's what happened. We successfully finished and make the homeowners happy.
Yeah. Have you ever had an instance where you have an idea of how the project's going to go, you tell your team on how it's going to go, and then you might have to switch up things halfway through? And how does that kind of impact the team's instructions and how do you have to regroup with that?
We have few times that we change the way we try something, it didn't work, we try something else, it worked. For most part, the team is very flexible. They know my goal is to finish this project, successfully finish, and to make the homeowners happy, to deliver what we promise. It's we haven't have any unfinished projects, but could be challenging time to time.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, would you say you're constantly communicating with the homeowner throughout that process, or what does that kind of look
Yes,
like?
during this process, we do have daily or every other day meetings. My the homeowners has my number and handy, and the main we have a foreman and staff that constantly communicating with homeowners and their concerns.
For sure. And then going back to the advice part of it as well, do you have any advice you'd specifically want to give someone if they were starting a masonry business or something along the lines of what you've built over the years?
My biggest advice to any other contractor is to learn a trade, work for a good company. It doesn't come overnight. It takes years of working for someone and see how they handle this kind of business. At least my advice is 5 years work just with a good company, a good crew.
And so when you touch on the idea of a good company and a good crew, what do you think separates a good home improvement job from like a great one or a good home improvement company from a great one?
Utilizing today's technology, we start as a company, we start giving customers a instinct design project using AI. So I've been very successful for last year using that to show the customers the actual their house or their backyard with the new project to look like it was finished. And this is they have actually by seeing that they have a really good idea what to expect. Of course, we invest a lot on figuring out basics aspects of the project, making sure the project is leveled right, is drained right, and is finished by the code, by city codes.
Yeah, and then touching on the process of, or your specific process, and I know you used AI in this as well. What does that kind of look like from start to finish, from contacting the customer to giving them estimates to doing consultations and then eventually like closing? If you could give like a brief timeline on that.
Typically, with every customer, I have a brief conversation. Once I receive a request, I call them and we go over slightly for 5 minutes, 10 minutes phone call, what they have in mind, when they are thinking doing this project. And I prepare myself better when I go to meet them. So I have some basic information before I meet with them. Once I sit with them, I listen to them what they're looking for, show them some of my portfolio projects, some projects that I have done and related with their needs. From there, either depending on the project, if they're smaller projects, we'll let them know the price in spot, or if it's a larger project, I come back with the price. There is no pressure. I give them enough time to think about and make that decision.
Yeah. So super easy process on the customer side.
It is.
Not like a high pressure sales environment or anything like that.
You cannot do that. No,
Yeah.
today you gotta be professional. The best philosophy I use is if this was in my house, how do I handle? I don't want some of the projects can be very costly. So you want to make sure that they take their time to think over and to make sure if they work with us, they're convinced that this is the right company.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we've talked about this just on our phone calls, but more of on the business side. How important would you say first impressions are with customers? I know a big thing that you see as important is being punctual, being on time, being respectful. Could you elaborate a little on that?
Be sure that customers are very aware of what's going on because they learn from, especially today with so much access with the internet. You have to respect them, their time, and anything to do with the way you schedule yourself. Typically, what I do is try to schedule on their own time, being time, being efficient with the timing that you meet with them. Any question and concern they might have, even during the meeting or after meeting, I try to be ready and have the answer. Pretty much that. Let them do the research on us as well, of course. They want to make sure and they need references. I'll provide that. These are some of the points I usually try to.
Yeah, so just being professional, respectful, having your stuff together, um, like being prepared to actually meet with them and see what they actually want and being able to
Yeah.
help them with that.
Yes, and of course, as when we meet, I have a device a large screen device, iPad, that I show all my work. And sometimes if they needed to project that in their own TV, I can do that as well in front of them so they can see a very large screen, projects that relates with what they have in mind.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then last question here before I let you go is where do you see your business in the next 5 years? I know that's a long way off, but I know we talked about the technology and embracing the new. Yeah, what would you say? How do you see your business in the next 5 years?
By the way I see it in 5 years is by maintaining a professional team and maintaining some quality and honesty with the customers. Eventually, this will actually move to the next level, which is dealing with larger projects or more projects to
Mhm.
come.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's all I have for you today. I know we did talk about you wanted to make sure everybody knows the deal you have going on. Do you want to explain that?
Yes, this year, 2026, we decide to give away each month a project. But these projects are given to certain groups of people. It's needed where it's needed the most. Most of the projects are focused on fixing unsafe steps, retaining walls and walking paths, rebuilding damaged retaining walls, restoring the sinkholes, but are only focused to certain groups like single moms, retired couples with a fixed income, low income families that are came across with an unexpected project that they can afford, war veterans as well. So these are some of the group people that we are actually focusing, giving them a free project. It's once a month. 12 projects a year for this year. Hopefully, next year we can double that. But for this year, each month we give a project, and we are going to post that in our social media and my website with
Yeah, that's
testimonies and all that.
that's awesome. If people want to reach out to you, how can they get in contact? I know I'll add your Facebook and your website and your other platforms in the description, but if you want to plug your stuff right now.
Various means. It's different ways of reaching out to people.
Yeah.
One of the ways is social media, especially Facebook. Other social media could be as well, and my website included.
Yeah. And if people want to see more projects like you've talked about, where can they find that on your website or Google?
It's projects, it's really in my website or my Google profile. It will be a lot of those projects and testimonies from customers, actually, actual real customers that we help them.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for joining me today, Mike. I think that's it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.